In today's What If episode, what if the Digimon trading card game introduced the Dark Ocean? Trading card games typically have two visible areas or zones generally for cards. In Magic the Gathering, you have the library, the battlefield, and the graveyard. In Yu-Gi-Oh! You have monster zones, spell trap zones, field zones, extra deck zones, main deck, and graveyard. And even for the Digimon trading card game, you also have the battlefield, the deck, and the trash. There are a wide variety of other card games out there, but these are the two I am most familiar with outside of Digimon, which is why I reference them. But in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering, there are also two zones that are not labeled. The Banished zone, which isn't marked in Yu-Gi-Oh!, is an area where cards are removed from play. Previously, this is what it was called, but now the term has been shortened to Banished. Likewise, Magic the Gathering has a term called Exiled that removes cards from the game. But for the Digimon trading card game, there is currently no such zone. With decks like Mastamon and other purple decks that can utilize their trash and resources in the trash well, what if there was a zone where cards were removed from the game? To pay homage to the Digimon Adventure series, what if this zone was explicitly called the Dark Ocean? Other names for this area were the World of Darkness and the Quantum Sea. According to the Digimon Wiki, it is one of three dimensions along with the real world and the digital world. Because of this, why wouldn't this be the third location that cards could go, with the other two being the main deck and the trash? But how would it feel being a Mastamon, Malamyotismon, Dandevimon, Three Musketeers, or a purple player in general if your opponent had ways to remove your win conditions? Utilizing Eismon Scatter Mode for digging deeper into the deck, and trashing pieces you want in the trash only for your opponent to play cards that remove them from the trash. Against hybrid decks that want to utilize the recovery aspect and then bottom deck everything with Suzanomon. What if these cards were simply removed before Suzanomon could be used? Suddenly that 9th and 10th hybrid or tamer you needed to evo your tamer into Suzanomon? Gone. With the Dark Ocean, as I'm calling it, being a possible zone where cards are removed from the game, this means there are several other items to cover in this video. The first being keyword effect for Digimon that can do this along with limitations. Personally, after some consideration, I would say the effect keyword should be glitch. Glitch would be an effect that lets you remove one card in the trash from the game and place it in the Dark Ocean. In essence, think of data glitching out. Doesn't function properly, right? Because of this, sometimes it just disappears from your system, leaving no trace. Glitch can be achieved with on Digivolve, on deletion, or even on play. And maybe the term glitch can be utilized in several sub-mechanics. Glitch with a number next to it, like Digivolve 1, 2, etc. This means you can remove that many cards, up to 3, from a trash at a given time. But now the big question, what Digimon would utilize this effect? My first thought was artificial Digimon, like Diaboromon, Eosmon, and D-Reaper. Spirals from Rearise could even be an option. Colors tend to focus on specific traits. But while I've briefly touched on the keyword effect and limitations with certain Digimon, what is also the counter to this? Unfortunately, there already exist keywords like reboot and recovery. And while I originally wanted to call it virus and vaccine, these are actually attributes for a Digimon that I didn't want to confuse with, which is ultimately why I went with glitch. Then it came to me. Restore. Restore would be the keyword that lets you take a card from the Dark Ocean and place it back in your trash. While not technically how computers work, restore would be a great way for other decks to maintain a card in the trash if it's needed, which I could see most necessary in yellow and purple builds. Again, restore would also have a number next to it to define the number of cards to return to the trash. What are your thoughts on the idea and concept of the Dark Ocean? Would it shake up how certain decks work, or do you think it just adds too much complexity to a game that should stay as simple as possible? Let me know in the comments below. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.